Katt Williams has been leaking information on Lori Harvey and Steve for days upon end. He alleges Lori Harvey of being an experienced escort and Steve of being her pimp. Williams, who has been doing so well recently, seems ready to take on his screamed with Steve Harvey because, according to Katt, he has some terrible things to say about Steve and his daughter Lori Harvey. According to rumors, Steve sees Lori as a commodity and has been making advances on her behalf to individuals in the industry, such as Diddy. Remember how Lori Harvey and Diddy got together around 5 minutes after Kim Porter's death? Well, Katt said that Steve was behind all of this. Williams is currently going after Steve and Diddy head-on, and he won't back down anytime soon. Was Lori forced into freakouts with Diddy by Steve? Diddy has been freaking the industry. Okay, so it appears that the crisis inside the Steve Harvey family was more extensive than previously believed, and Diddy is now being held responsible for what happened. Steve's biological children believe that he always chooses Marjorie and her children, particularly Lori Harvey, over them, which has caused a considerable rift in the Harvey family for a long time. However, Katt Williams claims that there is an easy explanation for that. That's the claim that Steve has been showing Lori up to different men, since Steve has always been more involved in Lori's life than in his own. It is now very clear that he favors her to his children from the outside. Steve's son, for instance, disclosed that he missed the first 16 years of his life. I mean, I didn't have my dad in my life full-time until I was 16, right? Not only that, but rumors have it that he missed his twins' high school graduation as well. Somebody who attended high school with the twins shared this information. I went to high school with the twins. They were a few years ahead of me, but people always talked about them and everyone was focused on them because of their father, who wasn't there for their graduation. An insider claimed that this caused Steve's biological daughters, particularly the twins, to always feel overlooked in comparison to Lori. However, as it turns out, Steve supposedly had a secret purpose for going on those father-daughter dates because, according to reports, he was secretly teaching Lori how to attract and retain men on those dates. And here's the thing, he wasn't training Lori Harvey because he wanted to be a better man or give her advice. Rather, he was training her because he intended to supposedly prostitute her out to influential guys in the business to gain notoriety and influence. When you stop to think about it, Lori Harvey has dated far more people than Steve's daughters, which is surprising because he only went on father-daughter dates with her. Now, in case you're wondering why Steve allegedly taught her and not his daughters, the reason is that he allegedly realized Lori Harvey had a natural affinity for it. It also didn't hurt that she's always been attractive to men, which made Steve wise to capitalize on it. His kids have always known about this, which led to a rivalry between his daughters and Lori Harvey because they felt left out. According to a source from last year, there was a lot of stress in the household since the kids were getting bored with Laura receiving all the attention. The blended Harvey clan is divided, according to the source, because Lori, the most well-known of Steve's children, has been stealing the show with her publicized love life, while he embraces Marjorie's children and loves them as his own. There is still bitterness among the siblings. Now Katt Williams is joining the conversation and dumping some tea on Steve Harvey. When I tell you that he poured some hot tea on Steve H, you probably already know that he is not the biggest admirer of Steve. It's not because he views Steve as a competitor in the comedy industry. Rather, it's just that he doesn't respect Steve at all. One thing that sets Katt apart from the rest of the industry is his unwavering moral standards. You all know how these CBS are willing to sell their souls to the greatest bidder, which makes it difficult for anyone to match. You guys would be shocked at what occurs in the industry, so the bid didn't even need to be that high. Listen, still, Katt has always believed that Steve lacked a backbone and sold his principles to the industry. His feeling worsened when C discovered that Steve had been passing off his jokes as his own. He asserted that Steve was quick to realize that Steve would only attend his event to rob them and take them back. Not only that, but Steve went on to steal Sab's tale about being broke and living in his car. According to Katt, Steve has always told this story about how he had to live in his car since he only had $35 in his hands. But since Steve was never in debt and never had to live in his car, Katt Williams claims that this was just another item that Steve took from him. Yes, it's crazy that Katt thinks Steve did that. but he has done a lot more. I'm not sure how two people could have lived in their car. Katt claims that the reason Lori Harvey's love life is so high is because Steve has always been involved in her relationships, even going so far as to pimp her out to different men. Recall how Steve's other children have been feeling about how theirs isn't as big as Lori's. As it turns out, Diddy was one of the men he allegedly pimped her out to. If you recall, when Ella started dating Diddy in 2019, it was very unexpected and shocking because no one saw it coming. To start, Lori Harvey was only 22 years old while Diddy was almost 50. If that age difference wasn't unsettling enough, it gets even more unsettling when you consider that Diddy was already in his late 20s and had a 5-year-old son when Lori Harvey was born. The fact that Diddy had been a part of Lori's life since she was a teenager, in Katt's opinion, is what made this strange. Diddy knew Lori Harvey when she was a minor, so it seemed strange that he would ever pursue a relationship with her. See, Diddy and Steve went to the same circles even if they weren't great friends. But according to Katt, Steve essentially coerced Lori Harvey into the relationship, so she didn't have a say in it. The strangeness is heightened by the fact that Lori only began dating Diddy a few months after the death of his ex-girlfriend Kim Porter. She and Kim had a wonderful friendship when Kim was alive. When Kim died, she was saddened. Having a hard time processing this one, you were such a beautiful person inside and out. I'm so glad I told you how much I loved and missed you the last time I saw you. Your energy was truly something special, an angel on earth. And now in heaven, rip Mama Kim, she wrote in an Instagram post that has since been removed, demonstrating her respect for the deceased. Given that Kim Porter was seeing Diddy's son, I wonder how she found out. However, even though she felt terrible about Kim Porter's passing, she only began seeing Kim's baby daddy a few months after Kim's death. Katt claims that Steve took use of Kim's death to introduce Lori to the relationship, indicating that either Laura was incredibly two-faced, or it was against her choice. Katt called Steve's decision to prostitute Lori Harvey out to Diddy, of all people, ridiculous. Diddy has a reputation for being a nasty guy after all. Those in Diddy's inner circle were aware of the situation, even though the outside world was unaware of its severity until Cassie withdrew her complaints. Cassie claims that Diddy used to have an open secret about touching his girlfriends, including Misa Hilton, his first baby mom, and her importer. However, that was of no concern to Steve. All he wanted was more influence for Lori Harvey to be associated with a well-known name in the business. However, Lori abruptly removed the homage she had written to Kim Porter from her Instagram account after making her relationship with Diddy public. You're all aware of the adage that says you can never truly remove anything from the internet. Thus, she and Diddy went public, and they were seen together less than 6 months after Kim's death. However, according to Katt, he was not one of those people who was waiting for Steve to intervene and end the bees, since he could tell right away that this was a strange connection with Steve's name all over it. That being said, it didn't take long for us to spot Steve and Marjorie traveling with Lori Harvey and Diddy. And when I tell you that, we were all shaken as if to indicate that they were not only aware of the connection, but also fully approved of it, given how much Diddy and Lori Harvey were showing off their PDA. Even though everything about this has been unsettling, what caught people's attention was Lori's nail paint. She always wore white when she was seen out and about with Diddy, and you all know what Cassie said about white nails in her lawsuit. Diddy, according to Cassie, used to have her wear white nail polish because he liked the way it looked on the pale skin of the male escorts he made her have personal relations with. It seems that not only Cassie, but also young Miami was the victim of this behavior, as fans have speculated that Miami was forced to participate in these freak-offs after noticing that Miami always wore white nail polish while she was around Diddy. Given that Lori Harvey stopped wearing white nail polish totally after her breakup with Diddy, people theorized that she saw some fairly wild things while with Diddy. Therefore, her wearing white nail polish around Diddy raised red lights for all of us. As long as Lori Harvey was with him and connected to Diddy, Steve, according to Katt, didn't give a damn about what she was going through with him. He attacked Steve Harvey, exposing his selfishness and prigging Lori Harvey to Diddy, even though he was well aware of Diddy's character. Furthermore, he asserted that Diddy wasn't the only man to whom Steve had spoiled Lori, saying that he had also done so with Michael B. Jordan and other men. Yes, Katt revelations had fans dragging Diddy and Steve for filth. They were saying things like, "I have been said Steve was pimping that child out. Ain't no way she ran through that many men and no one is good enough. She was smart and got away from the puppy quick fast and in a hurry. Or Steve doesn't have a say. Or he's all about the material things and status." Since Kim isn't a lesbian, no parent will allow their child, who is barely an adult, to date a dangerous 50-year-old man like Kim, especially after learning of the rumors surrounding Kim's death. Diddy is crazy. He dated someone who dated his son, and Steve's approval of that was creepy as fudge.